one. And yeah, that is strange, right? You say, hey, maybe we see that Phoenix come on through, but instead Asuna, who was just showcased on that first class, master class video, playing the Phoenix, locks in the Rays, and that kind of throws a wrench into things. And now I'm excited to see the Zoomers playing it on out. Rays and Sage, the Battle Sage, which feels the most important. I'm expecting Dicey to get a little aggressive with it here on Bind. But ladies and gentlemen, the Valorant Champions Tour starts right now. It starts on Bind, and who better than 100 Thieves to kick us off? Bind being a very strong map for this team, but we have seen some spooky instances where they still inched out the win. I'm looking back at that Moon Raccoons overtime coming on through from 100 Thieves. So hopefully we don't see something like that. If you're a 100 Thieves fan, you don't want to see that upset.
Well, hey, and if you want to put your money where your mouth is, or your proverbial money where your mouth is, we also are running predictions. I'm not sure how long it's been active in Twitch chat, but I can imagine the odds are a little bit overwhelming in favor of 100 Thieves. As we look on their side, they look to push in immediately towards B, and there's only 2 players to exactly hold the line here from 5 Emperors.
Yeah, a nice cage, though. Going to slow things for a second. And Sean Peasy has a nice cam to get that angle. A beautiful wall to keep things nice and clear. You only have to worry about the back of the site thus far. And that's going to buy quite a bit of time as that spike goes down. Sean dancing in the face of danger here. That cage, the only thing separating him from a frenzy. It's Asuna to kick things off here in the VCT. And the pistol round now underway. Siling's going to make his way on the board. And 100 Thieves looking to pick up right where they left off as everybody starts to crumble for 5 Emperors.
Zero space given to 5 Emperors as well. They just immediately look to push in. It's a bit claustrophobic in some ways. Dinks has to fight for his life just to get out towards the site itself. But, I mean, 100 Thieves, they had that round in the palm of their hands from the beginning. In Asuna's relentless pressure, in particular over towards Elbow, winning that initial fight against Sean Peasy, it kind of, well, broke the dam, if you would.
Breaking the dam, 4 kills to kick things off. Not only a fantastic start here for Asuna, he's got himself a Vandal too, so he's looking to put some salt in the wound and close out this next round nice and easy. Now, for 2021, although it's been very short, Ito, we've seen a handful of different philosophies, and it felt extremely aggressive for the most part. This time around, though, the defenders opting into a save. There's just going to be pistols across the board. 100 Thieves should be able to bag another round.
Not unexpected by any means to see a full save. They didn't get almost anything going their way, and you know, if you don't feel confident at all, why even bother? Sean Peasy will be the perfect example why. He goes down without really any hesitation from Asuna. Already up to 6 kills, excuse me. Quick correction noted, as 100 Thieves are on the fast track to a second round. I like that Steel is a late lurker here. He did this in the pistol as well, and proving to be lethal. 5 Emperors need to find an answer. This probably isn't the round that you're going to see it, but look forward for round number 3. That's when 5 Emperors are going to have more rifles in their hands, and maybe when 100 Thieves have to rely a little bit more, and not that surprise factor. And speaking of surprise factor, nice little shorty kill.
You take what you can get. Unfortunately, it's just the Sheriff that Sai had picked up from that one. Maybe a couple more kills on the way out, though. Sheriff proven to be strong. Now we're in a 2. Things are getting spicy. Low HP onto 1. Paint Shells goes through, and from spicy to dicey, a couple of kills there at the end. 100 Thieves, they pick it back up, they reel it back in. I thought that it was just going to be, hey, the Sheriff at the end of the day. Not much more to worry about, but now they force a couple of members to have to buy in this one. And it looks like a drop from Asuna on that Vandal, opted into the Spectre here. So it's a pretty good economy, 400 Thieves. But now we're seeing full rifles across the board from 5 Emperors, and this is really where we get to see how this team is going to hold up here on defense.
In a perfect world, this would be a bonus, right? But obviously not going to be an option for 100 Thieves. And since Asuna is only equipped with a Spectre, and how aggro just in these 2 sample rounds that we've seen so far, I don't think it's all too unexpected to maybe see a double satchel play into a showstopper, something of the sort, excuse me, just to get, you know, really early map control in your favor. 100 Thieves, they have time to burn, however. It doesn't seem to be going in their favor, as the man who does the burning is going to be Dinks. How fitting that it's going to be the Phoenix. Nice train out from 100 Thieves. Still, they're staying a player down. Luckily, Silinx has a different story to tell.
Finally, things get even. It was a good start for the defenders here, but 100 Thieves start to turn it around as they traded a couple of kills back. And once more, it's this B site that looks to be the place to be for the Thieves. And in a 3v3, it's a winnable round either way. At Spectre off the board, so it's rifles for everybody as they all look to queue themselves up out towards this garden or octagon area. Sai gonna push on through, make sure he clears all the corners. That spike planted for Matt Long, and I mean, this is tough. All three members have to worry about. They now only have to worry about two. Hiko gonna trade it back though, staying calm, cool, collected as Dicey and Hiko clean things up. 5 Emperors are gonna find themselves in an economic deficit once more as 100 Thieves look to pull away.
Well, it's the best start that 100 Thieves could have hoped for, and it's not all too unsurprising, excuse me, looking at this matchup again in the grand scheme of things. But just how that worked out for 100 Thieves is they made the most of kind of a crappy situation, losing a player immediately. They at least made it somewhat scary, you know, 5 Emperors. So at the end of the day, you can't be all too concerned. You're losing to the First Strike champions, but obviously a chance to strike back. This is still very early days. VALORANT is such a crazy game. You're up against a stand-in for the IGL. I mean, there's definitely some question marks here. 5 Emperors, though, as you mentioned, only do have those pistols to call their own. 100 Thieves, I think right now they're going to focus on trying to take all the ult orbs that they possibly can. I think Hiko actually just took one for his Hunter's Fury. They're just trying to build up the ultimates right now and obviously stabilize their economy. I don't see this potentially being scary. I mean, for sure, 100 Thieves don't give this up, right?
The only ultimate available for 5 Emperors is that run it back.
What a shot.
Sai unfortunately going to fall that one way, not really doing its job. Asuna now going on in, is able to find Dinks before he could get that ultimate off, and it's all red. It's all red across the board. 5 Emperors only down to their last member, and Sean going to try and do a bit of damage to the economy. He does just that, but with 26 health, the spike planted a 1v4 and just a stinger. I say just a stinger, but I mean, just beat out that Vandal. There it is. He peeks on out. You just got to go for it. No harm, no foul. Now the economy back in the right place, exactly where the Emperors want it. They have been dethroned 4 rounds in a row. It's another bye round, and I'm interested to see how things change, because it feels like the aggression from 100 Thieves, it's just unmatched. There's no way to stop it, and it's Asuna leading the charge.
I really think a little bit more of an emphasis over towards who can control or completely conceding it. Maybe emphasis over towards belong. It's something that you see 100 Thieves do a number of times. Again, looking back at that time in VOD, where they're actually kind of doing exactly this setup, an aggro dart down. Usually they have a paranoia at the ready to play contact off of, but that isn't the case. Their Omen is actually at the other site completely. This isn't exactly the 100 Thieves setup that you're used to seeing from the 5 Emperors, so you know, maybe they're not going to be completely mimicking the champions, but at least they've stayed stable so far. They haven't dropped a player, and we're nearly a minute into this round, or down to the minute mark, I think would be more accurate to say. Aggressive drone through, doesn't find all too much amazing information, but it's more than enough for Asuna to try to begin his escapade, take over that B-bomb site.
They just have him pegged here on this B site. Paint shells to force him out of position, then trying to spray him through the tube. Those smokes will delay things for a moment. And you love to see this from 100 Thieves. They're giving so much respect to this team. Although the 128th seeded team in this tournament, they're not trying or pushing their luck or trying their hand to do anything incredibly crazy. There's so much respect between both of these teams, and that's exactly why, because the kills will come through. Asuna now stuck on the site all by himself, will finally fall. And with 30 seconds left, that spike now rotating over towards this A site. Sai is still here, has the showstopper available, might look to use it. With that satchel charge, there it is, might find a double kill. It is a double kill, but one unfortunately is himself. Now Hiko to turn things around. The Emperors to get bored, they might just do it. It's all up to the Clutch King, but Hiko will fall. And against all odds here, Ito, 5 Emperors pick up a round.
Hey, this is how a comeback begins. This is how an upset begins. But 100 Thieves, they're not going to take this one lying down. They are so good at adapting, reading these setups. If it's not a mistake that they're going to make twice. Seal got a little bit caught off guard there. It is what it is. You give up one round, but you look to strike back in this next. Another full investment in from 100 Thieves. It's not unexpected, but now they have 3 ultimates in play, 2 actually also on the side of 5 Emperors. What I'm imagining we see here is a pretty similar setup. 5 Emperors immediately gambled, but they're overall playing incredibly passive towards B, and really 100 Thieves for the most part respected it. Oh, look at this orb from Dicey. That's actually going to go... Oh, well, it's actually going to miss, but it was supposed to go over towards U-Haul. I actually think that might throw a little bit of a wrench in their plans. It doesn't matter, though. They're committed to the idea. And, of course, that 100 Thieves aggression you talked about before, and it's going to stay true yet again. 5v2, they get the spike down. No further qualms.
And then a 2v4, this might be a save round coming on through. Dinks tried to make a play through the teleporter. Sent back with that, run it back. And this next round was the complete inverse to what we saw in the previous one. I said they're showing them respect. They're, doing their due diligence to make sure that they're not giving up too much. And that caused them to lose the round. They played it slow. They weren't expecting a few things, like you pointed out, and they lost the round. Now, in the next one, they go right back to it. They take the fights, they win the fights, and that's how they're going to win the round. So 100 Thieves making, again, these adjustments on the fly, realizing how they need to play against their opponents, as they net a 5th round now, 5-1. Resurrection available. Looks like Neural Theft and that From the Shadows available as well. And if you're 5 Emperors, at the very least, you're hoping that Hunter's Fury can now be used to stop a plant, buy some time, delay this 100 Thieves push, because it's been the aggression that's working.
It's Steel himself who said that Hunter's Fury is probably one of the most versatile ults out there. Only can be probably matched by those Jet Knives, that Blade Storm, but it's so good for eking out an early kill. If you're really clever with your dart usage or drone usage, it can also be good to deny plants or even in a post plant. There really are a lot of options, kind of like what you mentioned, Tanner, but you have to hope that it's going to be good. 100 Thieves, it's not broke, so they're going to keep on doing the same exact thing, Hammer it in until eventually 5 Emperors learn their lesson. There's an aggro dart through, trying to, I guess, have not map control, but at least get some early information on potentially what 100 Thieves are trying to pull here. But I think it was really good for Asuna not to shoot that dart, nor even peek it. Now, they'll be fighting for it again. With the recon dart used, they really got nothing for their trouble, 5 Emperors. Not the best start, but this is how they won their first round, staying even at about the minute mark. A burst is going to be coming soon, however, and that's going to be the real scary thing.
You go with the drone on a spot out anything here. They're not going to opt into that slow up. No, Sean going to stop that push. It was the Trojan horse up short, but Sean Peasy sits him down. Now the resurrection comes through, but still down a man is 100 Thieves. And you have to think 5 Emperors are feeling themselves as the 3K comes through, and Sai is there to back him up. No heals, no res, no Sage as Dicey falls. And once more, it's all up to the clutch king, Hiko. Gonna take that teleporter with the spike. Little does he know, he'll be running into Dinks on the site. We'll see if we can come out on top inside the tube. There's the flash. There's the kill. And the slow play style once more stunted. 5 Emperors have that book read.
And once again, a great read. Obviously, at the end of the day, it was Sean Peasy finding that immediate double that forced the resurrection out from Dicey. But I think that's something that maybe 100 Thieves are not going to exactly be able to fully counter, because this is not usually the same comp that they're running. Again, as I mentioned before, a lot of times they run a Phoenix. It's not uncommon at all. In fact, I'd say it's probably the most common strat on A to do nowadays is a flame wall across that angle that Sean Peasy was watching. It doesn't completely deny the opportunity of that happening, but it makes it a hell of a lot harder. So 5 Emperors maybe gifted that opportunity in some ways. You try to stem the wound, and again, 100 Thieves are wonderful at doing it. Let's see if this round is going to be maybe their boon that they're chasing. Hunter's Fury used for 5 Emperors. Want to mention that as well. It got only a tag, nothing more. Especially considering that tag can be healed up. It's overall not a really good trade.
This time a bit quicker on the push. One gets spotted out. Sean this time around, though, finds 2, but not going to find the kills. The information ultimate goes through that Neural Theft. Tags everybody out, and they're all on the opposite side of the map. Now 5 Emperors in a 4v5 with a From the Shadows available. Have to find their way back into this. Asuna gonna queue up the paint shells as soon as he hears. Nice little jump peek in the back of Halls. Inks Holding it through the smoke. On the flank, nothing. Hopefully doesn't find nothing this time around. Been having an unfortunate game. There's the paint shell's gonna find some damage. The flash getting 0 value because they couldn't push off the back, but on the flank, nothing will go. That paranoia to stop everybody towards Garden from out of hookah. Another one. Silenx will finally silence him, and 100 Thieves pick up 2 more to follow. Dicey to find the last, and it was looking good for a moment, but the stalwart defense in the post plant from 100 Thieves once more.
It looks good for a moment, but nothing more. It was well played, patient by 5 Emperors, but at the end of the day, that discipline, and something you're going to hear me hammer in every single round almost at some points, but 100 Thieves have a great grasp on the fundamentals. They traded each other out perfectly, and were in almost unstoppable post-plant positions, where they were kind of accounting for the factor that, hey, maybe there is a flank, maybe our hookah does get taken down. They had a plan ready. And this is what 100 Thieves, I mean, this is what makes them one of the most winningest teams in North America, at least in the recent history of VALORANT, that is. They're just so good at this sort of thing. Asuna, once again, has a showstopper up. This is probably going to be that double satchel play that I mentioned previously. I don't think he even needs to use it. This site seems free of charge.
5 Emperors find themselves with pistols once more, unfortunately. There's the call, though. They are going to look to make that play. Should they fire it over towards? Is going to find a double kill. Nabaki and Dinks, for some reason, peeking that one. Sean trying to sit nice and tight here. He's able to trade that kill out. Delay the plant for now with only a stinger. Asuna going to pick up a third. Maybe not necessary, but hey, at the end of the day, 100 Thieves, they explode onto the site quite literally, and they grab another round. It feels so bad at this point. The only 2 rounds that are picked up is when they find a way to scrape everybody off the list and leave it all up to Hiko in a 1v3. And look at that, just both of them right on top of each other, nowhere to go. And I think you just take your hands off your mouse and keyboard at that point.
It's so frustrating because I really like how 5 Emperors, obviously they don't hear me, but they have the same idea for what they should be focusing on. They have 3 players stacked out over towards B long. It was completely deserted. 100 Thieves said screw it to the idea of actually pushing towards there. And I mean, you saw the deadly results. 5 Emperors, again, when they've been given that space, given that respect, they have looked better. But at the end of the day, you have to remember this is a huge upset, and that must be very upsetting for Asuna, losing a crazy peak like that, as Sean Peasy seems to be standing out to me once more. Has that neural theft online? It's too early to pop it, I feel, but I'm wondering if he wants to try to maybe think about chasing down that body in the future, you know, get a good idea of where this setup is going to be from 100 Thieves. Because look, they're in a conga line formation, ready to push into B.
Deploying drone.
Hookah seeming to be the favorite here for the calls and for the plays. A couple going to push right in to that cyber cage. They do spot out the camera. Dark goes up on top as well. Not going to spot Sean out here. This could be another big angle. Not going to find that kill. Not going to find that one either. It's Nabaki from the back from downtown picking up 3 here. You give him a rifle, you give him an inch, and they'll surely take a mile. Now it's all up to Steel, who was on the lurk in a 1v5. Spike down on the side. 5 Emperors looking to bag another round here against the First Strike champions. Sada sits Steel down after he finds one. So a bit of damage to the economy, and I don't think 5 Emperors are in the best spot when it comes to that economy. But at the end of the day, you take what you can get, and it doesn't matter how you get there. It just matters that you got there.
At the end, you know, it's the destination that matters the most here. It's not about the journey, despite what that popular saying might entail. But I want you to keep an eye in particular on these ultimates that are about to come online. Just to name a couple of, or throw a couple of names at you, Showstopper and that Hunter's Fury. 2 amazing ultimates right there, only 1 ult orb away. What I'm expecting to see here is a fight for the ult orb over towards bathrooms, and it seems because of the 2 players who are currently occupying showers, or bathrooms, whatever you want to call it, that they're going to be maybe having the same idea as me. Although they haven't extended for it yet. Maybe this is a bait play by 5 Emperors? I don't know. At the moment, not too much to report, as once again, 100 Thieves showing a bit of discipline, showing a bit of respect, but once again grouping up outside of A, leaving nothing towards B.
See Dicey with the lineup again. This one does land out over towards U-Haul. And yeah, this could be a bait play like you expected. Steel, though, not the first to the sight line. He is the first to find that kill. The Hunter's Fury that was just picked up. Not going to find too much, but the A site being held down by 5 Emperors for a moment longer. Nabaki on the rotate. Didn't get anything with the Hunter's Fury, but he's going to do it with his rifle. Now, Hiko, it's a bit more doable. It's his third 1v3 in this game alone. Now a 1v2. He's got the Shark Darts, can play off site. Unfortunately, not very close to that Hunter's Fury. Can look to grab some info.
He's 1 orb away, or 1 point. Anything could happen, Tanner. That's the magic of Valorant. That's the magic of Hiko.
That is the magic of Hiko. I love that right there. Is both on the side. It spots out one, but it didn't spot out the second. He tries to swing wide. Unfortunately, there's just 2 of them there. Hiko will fall once more. And I mean, you can't be the warm-up king, the clutch king rather, all year round for the entirety of everything, every single tournament. You know, he's got to warm up to it. Now that he's been in a few clutch situations, he's going to be feeling good. Those are his clutch deathmatches that he just played. The next time we see it, I've got 100% faith that Hiko will be able to clutch it out. And this could be that round. A very huge pickup from 5 Emperors if they could go 7-5 at the half. At the very least, even if this game starts to go the other way when we swap sides, you can say, hey, at the half, the reigning kings in 100 Thieves, we took them 7-5 on their best map. It's rifles across the board, except for Dicey, who's going to be sitting onto that Spectre. And we'll see if 100 Thieves decide to play it slow once more.
It's the final round of the half. I also want to mention to you, and there are 6 ultimates, sorry, 7 actually. They just picked up an ult orb, I believe, in play. You're going to see this get really messy and possibly a little hard to follow. And you're going to see the results almost instantly pay off. 100 Thieves, this is their bread and butter. They are so good at overwhelming. And Silence, he fits in perfectly. He's not even on the main roster, but my God, you would never be able to tell with how he's been doing, setting up amazing paranoias for his team. But speaking of blinding effects here, Dinks will try to toss his curveball out to maybe make something more happen with that run it back, but he doesn't find anything. Tanner still not done yet. Nabaki, now he's going to be in for a fight.
Yeah, a whole lot more doable now in the 2v3. And now it's all up to the enemy Sova here to try and find the clutch as Hiko sits him down, maybe feeling a little salty after a couple of 1v3s. Either way, 100 Thieves, they go back to it. It feels, and this again, you know, I'm peanut brain play-by-play here, but it feels like 100 Thieves are so conflicted as to whether or not they want to play just the normal style, let's play it slow, let's play defaults, or let's just run and gun and get it done, because it feels they keep bouncing back and forth. But when they do run and gun, they do exactly that, get it done, as we see these kills come on through. Just clean across the board. You talked about Silex. That kill was so clean towards the back of the site.
I also want to mention, you know, Hiko, he's a clutch king, but just to kind of replay something in the past, I have to say, 5 Emperors, you know, they are playing some of these situations really well. That 2v1 against Hiko, they had a really good idea of what to do. But now they're going to be attacking. It becomes infinitely more difficult, because this is where 100 Thieves really shined in some of the past matches that we've seen. Against Envy, I think they posted a 12-0 half and ended up 13-0ing in the later stages of that game. And, well, it looks like we're already trying to speed run this pistol round. It's 4-8. I can say very, very confidently that it's soon to be 4-9. They at least pick up that ultimate orb, the 2 remaining members of 5 Emps, but from there, what can you hope for? Maybe a nice lucky gunfight? Maybe a spike plant? Maybe something a little bit more. There's a fight and there's a spike plant. So that's definitely those check marks kicked, but only for so long. Now Asuna's getting involved. It's done. You were talking about before how fast they move, how suffocating they are. That right there is the prime example.
Asuna with 1 bullet left in the magazine gets close and personal on that spike plant, finds that headshot to close it out. And that right there is one of those moments that just feels bad, right? How close are you to getting that spike down? How close are you to getting some extra credits for your team? Quite possibly opting into a force here in this one. Now, it does still feel like they're headed that way, but those extra credits definitely would have helped. And 5 Emperors, they got to get it done right here. It's looking like double digits for 100 Thieves, and it's a B hit. Some utility going to be used in this one. Dicey able to slow things down. Nice paint shells to clear him out for just a moment. You see the trap wire that should be stopping everybody coming from hookah, and The smoke, the slow, all the utility, the wall inside Hookah, it's completely stunted this push here. It looked quick until it wasn't.
Good match spike too. It's close to maybe inching up over towards A main. I'm sure nothing is going to wait for contact, but at what point does this become entirely telegraphed? This is the perfect setup for a TP play. I mean, you notice how the Raze and Sova are basically knocking on the door of it, saying, hey, let us in. They're just going to try to sell this fake as best they can, but this burst has to be amazing from 5 Emperors, considering the artillery that they have in their hands. It actually matches up relatively well. They forced up something we mentioned before, Tanner. Oh, that voice crack. That was really something.
Unfortunately, 100 Thieves don't take the bait, but they do take the first man down. Sean Peasy gonna pick that up, and Silence trying to make his way out of U-Haul to help his team. One of the only members here now, Hiko, coming to back him up. It's Stingers, it's SMGs, it's a Ghost in the hands of Dicey. For 100 Thieves to try and this. Now they're down 2 members. This 4 starting to pay off, but Dicey, this one still far from the res, has the heal available and a second kill to his name. The Battle Sage living up title. As the heal goes through, the shots come down, and the Stinger has to reload. Dicey for 3 with the Ghost. Sean still alive, so you have to be wary. It's 2 HP on Nabaki. It's a 3K for Sean. Can he make it another? He just has to buy time. Hiko needs to clutch up. He grabs the kill, but he should not have time. He's going to try and walk away with the best that he can in that Spectre. And the Ghost, I think they're at the end, but 5 Emps. Hey, everybody died, but you still got the round win.
It doesn't matter how bloody it is, as long as you get that number there at the top. 5 Emperors, that force finally pays off. I mean, considering the monolith that you're up against, if you would, it can be so scary to justify, you know, not just respecting it, going for a pistol save, and then buying up 3rd round. No, they said, hey, Stingers will do the trick. Sean Peasy finding that opening kill on the Sentinel, mind you, was almost round-changing. I mean, it was a little bit more round-changing, this 3K that Dicey got. As I mentioned, it's really bloody, but 5 Emperors, now they're in a really bad spot economically, and 100 Thieves, I mean, they can still probably have a pretty nice artillery coming towards them very soon. As you see, there it is, the Vandal coming into play, gets 1 kill, but somehow the long-range Stinger actually does the trick to trade him out. Numbers actually in favor of 5 Emperors, now down to 4 Emperors.
I do not understand the Stinger. That is a gun I will just never understand. The Frenzy kind of in the same boat. Unfortunately, didn't work out like the Stinger did for Asuna, but man,
burst,
that gun is, yeah, it is something else, and it just finds a way to get it done here. Yeah, now Steel on the flank has that sight line. Should they look to push on up? He needs to remain patient. No, he fires out the first shot and killed no matter. 5 Emperors might be able to string a couple in a row here. As you said, down to 4 Emperors. There's 100 Thieves down to 2 Thieves left. Trying to steal this round away with what battered economy they had. And it's all up to Hiko. I said it, and maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe I cast or curse him or jinxed him. But he's due for a clutch in one of these rounds. Low HP working against the clock as he pushes up towards heaven. Should be spotted out momentarily. He's going to pick up one. There's the first to come down. First kill. As he's got some utility, he's going to spot the head of nothing. And unfortunately, caught with his bow in his hands and his pants at his ankles. 5 Emperors grab another round. Still trailing 3. It's nice to string a couple together.
And it was kind of a weird buy from 100 Thieves at the same time, because look at what's on the menu for them this time around. Well, you had at least a little bit of a glimpse at it. Oh god, let's just look at this whiff one more time though. That was very unfortunate. Happens to the best of us. But anyway, to get back to brass tacks here, they don't really have much to offer. They have pistols in their hand once more, and we saw how it's kind of worked out for them so far. Another Stinger in play, and Dicey, mind you, he has absolutely nothing invested. I think we're going to be seeing an operator very soon.
Nice TP play. The camera, the spray down. Dinks is going to get one. A beautiful cage to try and slow things down, and now Sean Peasy is going to go right into the fray. He walks into another Stinger, and they find another couple of kills. Although the economy wasn't great, it was pretty shaky on both sides. So a solid round pickup here. It's all up to Hiko once more. Looks like he's got a sheriff in his hands. He gets spotted out and taken down. That is tactical shooter timing at its finest. And 5 Emperors pick up another one. I mean, this is, you know what? I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too much because it has been an awkward round, or it has been an awkward half with the forces coming the way that they came and the economy being super weird, the arsenal being super weird. But now, as you stated, Ito, they've got that operator online.
I just don't really 100% know what to expect. I mean, judging by what they have set up right now, it's going to be kind of one of their prime B long takes, but they don't have the paranoia set up, and I'm so used to seeing that, really, from 100 Thieves, so they're changing things up here. I really kind of like how they're innovating. You know, again, maybe you don't have to 100% take this game seriously, but considering how close it's actually gotten between the team of relative no-namers, if you would, they're looking to innovate once more, and there it is. Beautiful paranoia to take over Showers. Steel finds a kill for his trouble and somehow gets out to tell the tale. 1 point of health. I can already see the Twitch chat spamming 1, and how could you not? He gets away with murder.
So feels bad, man, to say the least. They're 1 HP separating Nabaki from a shock dart kill, and Dicey not getting a whole lot here.
Aggro. He's so aggro, though. This is ridiculous for a Sage.
That's the Battle Sage Zoomer mentality. Just keep moving forward. There's a line drawn, though. There is a line drawn. He's not going any further than long. He is just going to hang out and head on back to the site finally and maybe saying his prayers in that one. Getting lucky. Somebody had a guardian angel saying, please don't walk out towards Hookah or you will get shot with that operator. Now with 30 seconds on the clock,
this read.
being down a member. Yeah, the rotate coming over from 100 Thieves. Steel once more on the flake, trying to right his wrongs. Asano with the paint shells and a beautiful tag from Hiko. He's going to net that first kill onto nothing. That's the spike down right in front is Steel, though. There's the flank paying off, but it's back and forth across the board. Now in a 1v2. A very winnable round, and as I say that, you spoke it, Ito. The time is not in the favor of 5 Emperors as Hiko sits down the imposter once more. Whether it was kills, whether it was the spike, 5 Emperors were destined to lose that round.
And they moved their way into double digits as well. Crazy antics there from 100 Thieves. It felt like they were so close to going down. I really think, you know, Silenx, excuse me, has been slotting in so perfectly from Nitro because it's really similar to the kind of roles that we've seen both of them play. It makes sense because they're on the same operator, or the same agent, excuse me. There is an operator in play, but that's completely besides the point. But he's been setting up amazing paranoias over towards Showers, and it looks like they're actually having a bit more focus. They're only sending a dart through, but this is the same setup that they did last time, only it's completely deserted. Remember, when I talk about how 100 Thieves innovates, this is what I mean. It's small little changes that just really mess with the minds of 5 Emperors. It's working out perfectly. Spike down immediately. I don't really think that changes all too much, except for the fact that they're now down a very vital player. No smokes in play, Tanner.
Couple of ultimates available, though. The cages, cyber cages, could also be used, but not necessarily as quite as valuable as those smokes, like you pointed out. And Dicey once more getting aggressive, and he's going to pay off for him. Dicey now able to back away. The wall is up, and the Sage is out. Dicey coming up huge, finally getting value for having that operator, that 5,000 credit investment. And the Emperors, once more, find themselves down another player here in a 3v5, and they're going to be running out of time. 35 on the clock, and they have to just pull the trigger.
How is Asano already in market, though, man? This guy is going shopping mid-execute. Time is of the essence here. At this point, I'm kind of thinking 5 Emperors would rather just save on their guns, excuse me, because the numbers aren't in their favor for starters. But hey, everything has to begin with 1 kill, 1 shot, 1 opportunity, if you would. But I'm not going to try to plagiarize lyrics here. I'm going to try to figure out what they can do. And the answer is not too much. Hiko is there behind, ready to shut things down. And it's a save, albeit only with 1 player. Nabaki, he doesn't even get to save the rifle. This is a huge dilemma now. 5 Emperors, they can at least get another buy-in, but the money, it's starting to kind of dry up a tiny bit. If they lose this, they're probably going to need to, you know, stay a little bit frugal.
There.
Jeez. Dicey. What a perfect kill too. One thing I want to mention real quick before I bring it back over to you, Tanner, is that is a crash course on how to isolate your angles. I know it's a small thing, but you know, there's two players watching that same angle, and yet he only found the one and managed to, again, get out and live to tell the tale. That is massive. It's the small things that make the difference.
That play is a play that you expect to, hey, trade this kill, right? But just the way that Dicey peaked, kind of what you were highlighting, is they made it to where it was favorable for him no matter what. Now it looks like we're trading ultimates up in the air. They will go. Asuna going to be the only one to find the kill. As Nabaki trying to do what he can, and I respect Sai going for the point blank and maybe panicking a bit. Now nothing trying to get away, but nothing to be found as Asuna peeks. Dicey finds another. That's down to the last man here. Nabaki will fall. Hiko to clean it up, and match point for 100 Thieves.
Match point.
I said before that that was a heartbreaker, or at least had the idea that it was a heartbreaker, but this one is truly crushing. Tanner, they had 5 ultimates at the beginning of that last round, and now they only have the Neural Theft. They used 4 ultimates, and what did they get for it? 1 kill? Maybe 2? It's not a really good trade, if you ask me. I cannot believe just the amount of unfortunate things that 5 Emperors, excuse me, kind of had to undergo in that round, but it's beautifully played by 100 Thieves. You can't argue against it. They're up to 12 rounds and are looking to take map number 1 in a not too unsurprising result. But just in the fashion that some of these rounds are being lost by 5 Emperors surely has to sting a tiny bit if you're a fan of some of these players on the roster. 2 ultimates, including a resurrection on 100 Thieves. But the forecast seems awfully gloomy for 5 Emperors as they have had to buy up everything they can, including a Bulldog, which actually does prove to be relatively lethal.
Yeah, nice purchase there. That Bulldog taking down the operator. Dicey completely caught off guard, maybe not expecting somebody to be in that corner. Now 100 Thieves find themselves. It's been quite some time since they've been on the back foot, and a player down as Hiko queuing up the lineup here for that recon bolt. He's going to opt out of that decision. No, he is going to go for it here, and we'll see how much information he can get as 5 Emperors look to storm the site, all 5 standing strong. From the back side, Hiko just trying to spray through the smoke. Needs to be careful. That spike now planted. 100 Thieves working against the clock, and Steel evens the odds. A beautiful shot to come on through. Nabaki is able to trade it back. A nice headshot there will pop the Grape of Steel. Now Hiko pushing up the post plant in 4 different areas. The kills being traded back and forth. 100 Thieves looking to close it out, but they're all down to Asuna, and it's 5 Emperors to find another.
Stay alive on obviously one of the most important rounds of the game. They're up against match point, for Christ's sake. They looked great while doing it. 1 fatality through it, and they were in control of that entire round, it felt like. It's what you said, Tanner, that 100 Thieves, for the first time in a while, were on the back foot. Great duels won by Nabaki in particular, completely, changed the record. And now, 5 Emperors, they're playing a completely new tune. Could end here. That's what's so scary, though. Again, still things are heavily in favor of 100 Thieves just by the ultimates alone. The eco hasn't quite welled up yet, or dried up yet, excuse me. Still have a decent amount of wealth in their pockets, and they definitely have the shots to match. Dicey finds the first and possibly one of the final frags of map number 1, and Asuna probably there to find maybe another nail to drive into the coffin as we enter probably the last stages of this game, unless we see another miracle happen, Tanner.
It does feel like it would take a miracle. Steel.
Paranoia.
Now mixing up the angles here. Sprays down nothing. That's the spike down. The cage goes out to 100 Thieves. They've got the info. They've got the kills. They've got the 3-player advantage. And they're looking to close things out. The VCT starting off with a 100 Thieves win. As it's all down to Sean Peasy. If anybody can get it done, it's Sean. He's going to spray it down one. The boombot comes on through, but it's silenced through the wall, and it's 100 Thieves to pick up right where they left off.
Well, that is exactly what you can expect out of the reigning champions. A beautiful, beautiful performance from them, excuse me.